Hello, everyone. So the gang's all here. I'm going to say hello. I'm Roxanne. Jillian, say hi.
Hi, I'm Jillian. I'm so excited to be here.
I know. I'm just going across. So Jillian's from Luca Beth Lounge, if you don't know, but I'm sure you do. And then there's Kathy. She and I are partners. We do our little analytical videos together.
Waiting to spot Elizabeth and Lucas on the bridge.
All right. And then Janine Marie. Hi, Janine.
Hello.
And then there's Div. That's the other part of Luca Beth Lounge. Hi, Div.
Hi, guys. Hi.
Hi, everyone. We see you're there all saying hello, and we're excited to get started. So we're going to talk about the little promo we just saw. What do you think? Who wants to dive in first? Go ahead. Anyone. What do you think? Spoilers, if someone didn't see it, close your ears. What do you think, Jillian?
I am wondering why Nathan is riding Sergeant. Why isn't he riding Newton?
I'm wondering.
Just my first question.
I'm wondering if it's because it's after his accident and and Newton is hurt. Because I think that accident happens right away. And he had a mustache on when it happened. And when he's riding on Sergeant, he doesn't.
True.
Yeah.
So you think the Newton situation goes on for that long?
I don't know that.
I mean,
this is episode 3, right? That we just saw.
I don't know.
I don't know. Did they say?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I could be totally wrong. That might be wrong. I saw episode 3's description. That's what might be in my head. And who knows when this particular episode is, promo is from. I don't know.
Yeah, I think Newton is just spooked.
Yeah.
Right. And that, and that's why who helps him out is Mae Sue's been helping, and she's like the horse whisperer almost. So maybe that's what it is.
I think that's in episode 2. Mae Sue rehabbing what's his face? Newton. I love Newton. I shouldn't say what's his face. Because it's in the description for episode 2. And there's that picture, the spoiler photo of Mae Sue kind of like, I think trying to calm him down. I don't know, holding him, and then Elizabeth's watching from the background.
Right. So. I think if I had read it correctly, Nathan wanted Elizabeth to maybe try to console or talk with Newton, and then she finds out that someone already was, and that's why she's out there watching, or maybe whatever she had to do didn't work, but Mae Sue, it is working, which is nice.
According to the promo or the spoiler, Elizabeth offers.
Okay,
which I'm not very happy about, because she's offering this. She's offering to teach him to drive. What's going on?
Right.
Oh,
I was kind of excited to hear Lucas be like, "Are you sure you're going to be rooting for me?" or whatever he said. I was like, "Oh yeah, a little jealousy there."
I like that though. I think that's funny. It's cheeky, like.
No, but I think wasn't that about Sergeant? I think that's because he's writing Sergeant, not because of Nathan.
Maybe.
I hope so, at least. That's the way I'm going to interpret it.
Jealous.
I don't get a jealous vibe with him in the other thing.
I don't think so. I think it's about Sergeant.
I'm getting that things are going to be a lot more lighthearted and fun with these 3 going forward. I can just see Lucas and Nathan ending up being the best buddies ever.
Agree.
You and I have been saying that for a while now. I think that. Yeah. What do you think, Jillian? You think they'll be friends?
I think they'll be friends.
Div? Yes?
Eventually. I'm not crazy about it. I mean, I'm not against it, but it's not like high on my priority list.
Right. It's high on mine only because I'll tell you why it's high on mine. Because they weren't really always, there was a point where they were like it wasn't that they were at each other's throats. It was never like that, actually. But it was that Nathan, remember in that one season, he would always blame everybody for something, and he was blaming Lucas. Oh, he's a lover, all right, like a lover of books. Remember that whole library scene?
Oh, yeah.
But then when they moved beyond that, they were kind of lighthearted and funny. You'll see that. And then all of a sudden it went back to becoming serious. And I guess it was more serious when the stakes were higher. I don't know. But I like them going back to the funny. I think it's cute. And I liked when I like that. That's exactly what happened with Elizabeth, and I always want to say Pascal instead of Rosemary, like Rosemary. I'm my word. Oh, yes, Rosie. She and I love her. They were competitive, and she wasn't so nice. And then she became nicer, and they got closer. So I'm like hoping for something along those lines, like a redemption type story. That's what
I think we've already seen with Lucas and Nathan 2 incidents where it showed when the rubber hits the road, they're there for each other. And the first one was where Nathan needed the money to to pay off his brother-in-law. With his brother-in-law, and Lucas handed over the money, no questions asked. All he worried about was, is this enough? Do you need more? And then the other, on the flip side, once Elizabeth made her decision, Nathan came to Lucas to make sure he knew, she didn't pick me. She said she doesn't love me. I don't think, what we had comes close to what the 2 of you had. So I think deep down there's a respect there, and a little fun going on, and they're going to end up being there for each other a lot more than they're going to fight.
That's forward. The Hope Valley way.
Yep, it is.
Anything else standing out in that promo? What do you think, Janine Marie?
I'm just the Sergeant thing stuck out to me, and I do agree with Div. I think it's Sergeant. I think we're starting to see Lucas the adventurer. Yeah. And Elizabeth being a little uncomfortable with the fact that he's an adventurer.
Yeah.
But right now, it's all fun and games.
Yeah.
It may not always be all fun and games.
Right.
I'm sorry, Janine. I didn't mean to cut you off. I was binging season 6 last night, and it's so funny. I was watching Anna and Emily. They have a debate in one of their things, and the debate is horse versus its car, but that's what it reminded me of now is the exact same thing, where Emily made a very good point. Horses, they do leave behind a lot of waste. So go Lucas.
You know what too is it's that whole time for industrialization where people have to come to terms with doing things manually, right, or animal labor or mechanical. So there's that whole debate, and I think that that's kind of cool that they're showing that, and I think it'll be fun. I think it would be hilarious if in the end nobody really was around, like everybody kind of left the race. I think that would be funny.
Yeah.
I think they might be giving a little hint to the future with Nathan needing, at some point, Nathan's going to need to learn how to drive.
Yes.
Because if you recall, the Pinkertons are already there. They're, tooling around in their motor vehicle. So if he ever has to chase them or try to track him down, he's really going to need a car. So.
Right. There is something about him learning to drive.
I think those 2 things are also signaling more interaction between the 3 of them than a lot of people would have hoped for.
Yes, I mean there's a lot.
Mae Sue is in that mixture too. It could be really interesting and really funny.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Div.
I was just gonna say Elizabeth does wait for Lucas, because remember in the other promo we see the kiss where. Yeah, I think he comes back. Yes, he's got like the
goggles off in his face.
Yes. So we do know Elizabeth waits for him, and I could be wrong, but I think she's got water sitting on like that top step of that shack, that gas station shack. I could be wrong on that one. But we know that at least one person waited for Lucas.
Yes. Oh, yes. Of course she's going to. I'm just thinking it's funny, like the whole town.
The rest of them. Yeah. They're probably gone.
Who's going to win?
Pardon me?
Who's going to win?
Neither.
The motorcycle or the horse?
I don't think either. I don't think they'll let either win.
I think like it'll be like we don't know. Like I don't know. I'm not sure. I would think unless something happened to the motorcycle that the motorcycle would win, but I don't know. Things didn't go as fast as they do now. I don't know. I don't have an answer.
Or maybe one of them breaks down or has a problem, and the other one sticks around to help them. Or
he runs out of gas.
Yes,
That's the gas station.
if the writers were monitoring social media this off season, they would not let either guy win.
You're right.
They're going to let them tie or something else. They are not going. I don't think they're going to have one win over the other.
No, I agree with that. But
I thought of something just now. Because when Nathan comes out of the jail, Mae Sue is like, I thought this was just between you and Lucas. Like, why are there so many people? So I'm wondering, like, why they were racing to begin with if it wasn't supposed to be like a spectator sport, you know? Like, what are they racing for?
Maybe it has something to do with the fact of, like, Nathan has to start driving a car. He has, and it can't just rely on a horse. The Mounties had said this to him. So maybe it's something with trying to convince Nathan that an automobile of some sort is faster than a horse. I don't know. Who knows? That's a good question.
When I first heard that line, though, I immediately thought of the black eye scene. I'm like, oh no.
Oh, that's funny. Like where he gets maybe. You don't know. Did any of you catch where you hear her voice talking in the background when they were doing sort of like, they were showing him reading with, showing Lucas reading to little Jack and her watching. And then what she said was, he asked, how long were you there watching me? And she said, like, basically long enough to realize that she feels more for him than she realized. Did you hear her say that?
Yeah. I didn't like that.
It kind of stung a little.
I didn't like it. She's already past all that. Come on.
Yeah.
No, she's already there. She told him, I've fallen deeply. Like, what is this, regression? I don't want to. Okay.
No, but no, I don't think it's regression. I think it's just literally deeper. I mean, you can be in love with somebody. I love you as much as I possibly can. And then you do something and it's like, oh my word, my heart just opened up even more. I think she's just falling deeper and deeper and deeper.
Okay, I love that, Kathy. I love that.
Yes. Yeah, and that's true. And then that might scare her, you know, like who knows? Like she didn't realize that she could feel so deeply for someone again, or maybe I shouldn't have been saying that.
No, it's true, but it was before. It's been her and Lucas. That's been the dynamic for 3 seasons. But now little Jack is in the mixture. He's a real part of that, and it's like, okay, I'm in love with this guy. You know, I've got my child. They're starting to interact. Yeah. What does that mean? How is little Jack going to react? Is it going to work? And then she sees that they are bonding, and that would make her heart just open up even more.
Yeah,
that's true.
A family.
Did you know, like when you have a child, and then you're like, you see your husband as a father, and you're like, oh my gosh, like she hasn't ever seen her son have a father before. So that's true. That could just be like a new level that she's never
a new kind of love. Yeah. There was a lot that we witnessed. It seems like there was some kind of jealousy with Viv. Like he says a name, and I can't remember the name that he says, but he says a name and like he didn't handle it correctly. So I'm wondering, and almost that it had to do with Minnie. So is someone from their past there, or something gets brought up? Did you catch that?
Yeah, he was talking about Landis.
What about it? Like
Landis, I don't think he said jealousy. I think he just said like his anger got the better of him.
Oh, okay.
But it was about the school inspector.
Oh, okay. So he did whatever went down, whatever was happening. He didn't handle it, but it seemed like maybe Minnie did, like, you know, she did, which is surprising because before she was the one that was like so upset by him. Okay, so I totally missed that. Thank you for clarifying. What about, did anyone catch, like they came out like a family? I mean, when they came out of, and I'm talking about Nathan, when he walked out, he has Allie with him and Mae Sue, and they walked out of there like tight. So I'm like, already? Do you think?
I thought the same thing. I was like, wow, okay. I mean,
it's gonna happen fast because it's gonna happen fast. I think they're gonna meet in episode 1. I think it's gonna happen in that saloon. Yeah, it's gonna happen in episode 1. I won't get into too much detail. And I think the book signing is in like 3 or 4. And by then they look pretty tight. I think she's standing by him. And I think that's weird, right? I mean, they kept telling us it's going to be a while. It's going to take him, his heart some time to heal, unless they're doing the whole like friend thing.
Yep, I think that's exactly what they're doing. I think the attraction is going to be really obvious, but it's going to take them a while for each one of them to acknowledge it. And please, Lord, I'd love to have a scene of Nathan and Lucas actually talking about, man, go after her. You obviously like her. Say something to her. Because I think Nathan might be at this point a little gun shy and not quite willing to put himself out there the way he did with Elizabeth, because he's not sure.
At this point?
Yeah, he's like, well, I'm going to make sure that my feelings will be appreciated. So,
yes.
I'm wondering how Allie is going to react to Mae Sue, because she was so attached to Elizabeth.
I think that their friendship would still go on, but I had said, I feel like there's got to be someone else in that whole like Hope Valley that she can connect with, and she's got a bit of a spicy kind of a personality, and I'm hoping that like I feel like Mae Sue might kind of be sort of along her line, like they're going to connect somehow, because they're not like the average female, like Kate,
right.
Like I wouldn't say Kayla, but like Fiona's not. So that's why I thought they would be great together too. But it seems like Mae Sue might be, sort of like
independent.
Yeah, independent, like a modern thinker, not so traditional. Yeah.
And that's where Allie is growing up to be, I think, too. She strikes me that way.
Yes. So then there was, what about Lee and Rosemary? I knew that there was going to be tension between them because she's working so much. Did you hear what he said? He said, like, come home early.
I didn't hear what he said. I heard did he say, can you cover for something tonight? Or did he say, can you come home early tonight?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I didn't hear what he said, and I was like, what?
Yeah, I didn't hear it.
And she looks upset, but I love it because then I think they're going to get some really great news. What do you think, Janine Marie? You think that they're going to get some good news?
They're either going to get some good news or they're going to make some good news.
Yeah.
I love it.
I agree with that. I don't know. I love that scene. A lot went down in that one. Wow. And I like when they go, well, let's go get some ice cream. So we know there's an ice cream parlor. And then and then Faith's getting a new hairdo by Fiona. She goes, I want to try something new. And they're getting some new hair. So I think it'll be good. Did you catch, because they're saying this in the comments, did you catch the whole thing between Allie and Robert and what's the other little girl? She's cannot see. She's blind.
Angela.
Did you? They were spending time together, riding the bike, and you think there's like going to be already a triangle again?
I heard someone who did that. Someone suggested what about Angela and Robert? I can't remember who said that, but I was like,
there's a fanfic out there.
There's a what?
Yes.
Fanfic out there.
Is there?
Oh, good Lord. They're 12 years old?
Between Robert and Angela?
Between Cody and Angela, actually.
You're right. Sorry. Cody and Angela. Yeah. Yeah, it's not. Come on, he's not even on the show. Yes, Jillian and I have some strong opinions about Cody. But anyway.
Yeah. Anywho.
I'm just stunned by that. I'm just thinking all about that. All right, since we're talking so much about Mae Sue, and we have her there, when Amanda was on, Amanda said, at first she didn't want to tell us, then she let it slip that part of the audition when it came through was that she had to know how to ride a horse. So we know now that's, since I did that interview like a long time ago, it's out that she does come in on a horse. That is her. But she also said that she's from the States. I believe it was revealed somewhere that she's actually from Chicago, and that she is there for work. I know there's Kathy, right? Your neighborhood. And she comes for work. That's her purpose. What do we think? What do we think about what her job is?
She's not a vet, is she?
You think she's a vet?
I was just thinking she's good with animals, good with the horses. I don't know.
I think she's got a tie to Faith.
Yeah.
Okay, so she's tied to Faith. Maybe is she a pharmacist? Is she going to, because you see her working? Yeah, she's in the pharmacy and she's with Ned. Do you think maybe she's something along those lines?
Either that or Faith's getting a nurse.
Oh, I don't, but then again, she also is linked to Nathan. It comes out. Even Kevin McGarry said this in one of his recent interviews. He did 2 before he had to do all this other stuff. That they're linked. They're like there's something going on in her past that makes her linked to him. Like he needs her or she needs him rather. So I don't know. I mean, do you think she's undercover or do you think that when it's something that she's running from?
It might be all linked to a case that's going to come out that she's got some connection to. I don't know if it's the Pinkertons or some case that may be one off just for a couple of episodes. And so she has to help Nathan do his thing with capturing them or something. I don't know.
If she's a pharmacist, it could have something to do with the different drugs that were going around at that time.
That's
and she's
Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola, opium.
It's different.
Opium, definitely. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. I don't know. I'm just like, I want to know what her job is. It's driving me crazy. What about Viv? Viv said that he was he ran track and stuff when he was younger and nobody realized that on the set. And there's a part where he's got a sprint and he said it's a big deal and he kept having to do it over and over again. And they were shocked, that he could do it. What do you think he's sprinting? Where is he running and rushing off to? What do you think about that one?
Maybe Angela hurt her knee.
No. Mm-mm.
Oh, again? Did you hurt? She got injured last season.
That's why it was funny, Div.
What?
I said that's why it was funny.
Oh, like Lee in his back, right? Or Lee getting injured.
Over and over again. Maybe he's lost.
Maybe he's the third racer, maybe we've got the horse, the motorcycle, and then we've got the runner.
Oh my gosh.
Or maybe he found out that boy is interested in Angela. And
there you go.
He's never Robert. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I'm thinking it has something to do with the kaboom fire.
Maybe
he's got to run to get help or how in the world does the fire truck get there? Do they have some bell that they ring? We've never heard that before. Do they just automatically hear it and they just pull up in the wagon? I mean, I wonder how that works.
I think that's new.
The fire wagon? Like
when they had the explosion at the mine,
right?
The guys had to drag stuff in and equipment and try to put it out. So maybe the amount of time has passed. Things have improved and the town has grown. They've got the ice cream shop. Maybe they've got a volunteer fire department. Whatever it is, I think the underpinnings of nearly everything that may go wrong in town this season is the Pinkertons. I have not forgotten about them. They are working somewhere, just waiting to strike.
And it's so silent. Anything we've been given has nothing to do with them.
Yep.
Yes, this is true. It's all like blood is Shangri-La. We're all good friends, happy, wonderful. And then we know that's not how it turns out in the end because we saw, the behind the scenes.
Yeah, wasn't there a spoiler photo with the prisoner transport?
Yes.
Yes. Very early on.
Yep, there was that. And then when Natasha was in on the interview, she was saying that their family is from the USA. I wasn't sure. And that we'll learn this year. Oh, Peter's here. Joseph told us the church bell has many uses. Thank you, Peter. Okay, that makes sense. So then Natasha said that I lost my train of thought. We'll learn. Oh, okay. That they'll learn. No, I'm looking at my notes here. That they'll learn more about her past. Like it's something about her past is going to be revealed. Do any of you have a feeling that she somehow has a family that has business and has money or something? Do any of you feel that or no? You get that sense?
Are you talking about Minnie?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. My mom and I were just talking about this the other day, actually, about how it seems like Minnie kind of came from like like a wealthier family, maybe a little bit, because my 8-year-old daughter actually told me, she was like, she said one time that her housekeeper taught her how to cook.
Mm-hmm. Yep, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I did.
Your daughter told you?
My daughter told me that, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
And
we need to get her on the podcast.
Something about high tea.
I know.
Explaining the difference with high tea.
Yes. Remember, she did all of that. That's true. And then it was so confusing because it low tea, high tea, whatever tea, and they didn't know what to do. So I'm excited to find out. And then like they have their conversations where he's like, we moved from here, we moved from there. I'll go wherever you want me to go. But one day we do have to stop running, but I'll do what you want. That's what Joseph says to Minnie. So that's why I'm like very much interested in learning what their background is. And they did say that we'll hear more. I'm not saying that we'll get a new character, but somehow they'll be sharing that, which I kind of like.
She came from a more privileged background, and her family, that is her daddy, wants her back.
Yeah.
And has been looking for them. And I can almost picture a scene in my head where, you've got to come back. We can take care of Angela. We can care for her. Maybe we can get surgery done and restore her eyesight, just putting the pressure on them.
Okay.
We need Viv and go back east or wherever it is they're from.
All right, that makes sense. And everyone was thinking, because the scene that they showed when Bill was reading the letter and Minnie was cooking was inside the cafe, and everyone's like, oh, they moved there. But I asked them, they're like, no, we didn't move. So I'm wondering who in the world lives in the cafe? What do you think?
You said they definitely did not move there? Because there's a vacancy now.
Pardon me?
There's a vacancy now in the cafe.
Yes, I'm wondering who lives there now. Anyone?
Mae Sue? Mae Sue needs a place to stay.
Did Queen of Hearts burn down?
What happened?
No. Queen of Hearts, that's still intact.
Oh yeah.
I couldn't hear.
Lucas would move somewhere to be more family friendly. So
Lucas doesn't live there.
Doesn't live where?
Lucas does not live in the saloon. He told that to Allie.
Oh, I thought we would see him. Maybe that's just where his office was then.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Look, they're asking Peter. They're having their own meeting and their own conversation in the chat. Peter, was the bell used to alert the town to danger? Oh, look at this. Yes, Peter, I thought the same thing too. Look, you're having your own. Thank you. You like hijacked our show tonight.
You said pianos aren't cheap.
Oh gosh. So then Matthew, he came on, and he will be towards the end of the season, and I think it's episode 10 and 11. Why not 12? What happens to him? I was thinking about that. And he said he comes for business, and he is from the States. So what kind of business do you think he has? Like, what kind of business dealings?
Peter.
I think he's involved with Gallon Petroleum and something to purchase with it.
Who do you think? Do you think he's he wouldn't, he said he couldn't, he was going to tell us where he was from the States, and then he decided not to then because it would give away too much. Do you think he is like attached with Fiona? Like maybe he has something to do with like her, I don't know, her ex-fiance, her backer. I don't know. What do you think?
Or maybe Mae Sue.
Do we know if he's a good guy or bad guy?
No,
we don't know.
He has to be a good guy. He's too cute. He's so cute.
Oh, well, speaking of you're always rooting, Jillian, for Wesley Salter's character, a good guy, right?
He is. He's got to be a good guy.
Okay. Well, he said that it was an intense season, and all the clips that they've given us so far do not show any intensity except for that 2-second fire. Everything else looks like it's so wonderful. We're all in love, riding around, having a race. So I don't know. What do you think the intensity is?
I'm going to go back to the Pinkertons. I think they're going to have their little tentacles out at various entities in town. They're going to be trying to get at Lucas and Henry and whatever. They're trying to get a toehold into town. So I think they're going to be going after, any business owner, just trying to make trouble, turn people against each other.
Well, Lucas particularly, because he's the most powerful man in town, owning Gowan and the saloon. Henry said in season 6 that when he purchased the oil company, or when he built the oil company, he owned most of the mineral rights. So that means Lucas owns most of the mineral rights, plus the second town social center aside from the church.
Oh, yeah. So he's like a target, I guess.
Yes.
Now,
well,
go ahead.
Unless he sells his stake in Gowan Petroleum, right? Because isn't in episode 1, didn't we read a spoiler that someone approaches him? Someone is interested in buying. So what if he doesn't have an investor? So what if he's not involved anymore in Gowan Petroleum? I don't know. I'm just throwing this out there.
I think he steps back. I think he's going to step back from something, and the petroleum business would make sense because he's not going to sell the saloon, right?
No.
But
I don't know. I'm kind of disappointed. I thought that we would have this season. You know, Chris had expressed his desire to have a storyline where Lucas kind of loses everything and has to start from scratch.
No.
I would love that. I would love to see him start up.
No.
I'm in the minority here, no pun intended. But
sorry, Kathy. Yeah.
I would like to see him start from scratch and show how, you know, he can do it again.
No, but I think he remains involved in the oil company because of the one behind the scenes that Martin shared. It's going to be one of the last 2 blocks, and there's a court scene or a scene in the judge's office.
Yeah.
And we know that Henry is there, and the female stand-in is there, and then we see Lucas going there.
What about the other fellow who runs the company now?
Mike.
Mike.
You couldn't really tell. We could only see that I saw the female stand-in. The male stand-in was there. We don't know who he was standing in for. But then there was another picture of Chris walking to the building.
Right.
So I think Lucas will maintain some control of Gowan Petroleum, at least for most of the season. And maybe that's where Arthur Gilchrist comes in.
Okay. And at the very beginning, they showed a little preview the other day, and Lucas walks up to Elizabeth and says, you know, I want to spend my time with you, but I don't want to leave Henry alone with Mr. Smith, whoever Mr. Smith is, right? And they're talking business, and she's like, I understand, and he goes. So that's in the very beginning. So something's like, you're right, Janine, something, I don't know. He's still very much involved, I think, in the oil business all the way up into the end. Yeah.
I don't think he'll give anything up completely, but I think he'll step back in something just to make more time for Jack and Elizabeth.
Yeah, I agree with that. And you know what I thought was interesting, because we had just mentioned Wesley. So there's, I think it's either episode 3 or 4. I think it's 3 where they're going to they throw her that surprise party, kind of because she's a little bit down on the reviews that she read of her book. And when we're looking at those scenes, it looks like Wesley Salter, his character, is in the background.
Yes.
Now, why in the world would he be there?
Because he's a good guy.
No, really. Why would he be there?
Because he's
he could be working both sides. You know, he could be a mole for the good guys.
Yes.
And pretend to be a bad guy with the Pinkertons.
And I get that, but why would he be invited? So somehow he has to have, that really is him, he definitely has to have a relationship with Lucas or whoever threw the party. He's not just going to show up and they're going to let him in, you know?
Oh, I think he would. I mean, that town, they don't stand on kicking people out.
Peter said,
one big happy city hall kind of thing.
Maybe he bought a business.
Maybe he bought, he's been trying. Yeah.
Yep.
Did you guys see this comment? Peter said a foundry makes all businesses more lucrative.
It does, yes.
So,
can I ask Peter a question?
Go
super
right
quick.
ahead.
Okay. Peter, are we gonna get more Gustav this season? That's all I need to know. We're Gustav people here. Can we expect more of him?
Please.
I asked Gustav to be Gustav, the poor gentleman's. I wanted him to be on. And he was his
Carl Mercer.
He couldn't, but eventually, eventually he would, but he was very busy. I'm like, okay.
We have. More Gustav.
We do.
Hashtag more Gustav on our mugs. Our
Where's
Elizabeth
my
Lunch
thing?
mugs.
Oh my
We love
God.
you so much.
Look, he says
More
yes.
Gustav. I love it. I love
He
it.
answered.
More Gustav.
Thank you,
Yes.
Peter.
He answered. I have to get up for a minute. I'm having a technical issue, but it'll only take a minute. So go ahead, girls. What do you want to talk about without me? Go right ahead. You want to talk to Peter? Go right ahead.
Gustav.
So Gustav
Everybody's
plays the
very excited
accordion.
in the comments about more Gustav.
I know.
My favorite Gustav quote, Luca, the mushrooms.
The mushroom.
So
The mushrooms.
He's awesome. He's so
good.
cool.
I love it. I love that we're getting more of everyone. Andrea said that this was a year of growth for her and adulting. And did you see her sign? It says, you know, her name on there. She's a doctor. What do you think? What do you think what she means by this? What's going to happen? Do you think she's going to have to do a surgery?
She's coming into her own.
Well, I think
Just,
go ahead, Jenny.
Go ahead,
she
Janine.
talked a little about mini surgeries, where Molly was starting to get into the mini surgeries that they're doing.
That's
Oh,
true.
many. I thought you were saying Minnie, and I was like,
Mini
what?
Well, it is.
Molly's
Emily
helping.
and I think she was talking. They weren't big surgeries, but Molly she wanted Molly to get a nursing degree because she's starting to actually participate in some of the doctoring that goes around.
So I think it's gonna be, how does she deal with being the only doctor in town without Carson being there?
Like all by herself.
Well, and being like a single woman now, like she's been with Carson for
A while.
a long time.
Look at what Peter said.
There
There
will
will
be
be dancing.
Peter, can we expect a dance without a glance? Like just
Not a glance.
just look about, you know, no prying eyes anywhere. Can
Oh
we,
my gosh.
can we hope for that?
Please, is there a Lucas and Elizabeth dance? Please, please, please.
Peter's like, what have I gotten myself
okay,
into?
for a wedding, Peter, does anybody propose? Was there really a ring in that box? Are you going to be giving it all away over here?
Are we going to get to that? Are we going to talk about
We won't tell anyone.
Sure. Yes, we absolutely can. Come on, Jillian. What do you want to talk about? Let's hear.
I want to talk
I'm
about
ready.
the box. I want
All
to
right.
talk about the box. I don't think there's a ring in the box.
I don't either.
I think it's something else. And I think Elizabeth thinks it's a ring. And she's like, oh my gosh. And then he's like, it's just the brooch or some earrings or like whatever it is. I don't know. I don't think it's a ring. I hope it's not a ring because the way he presents it is not very Lucas-like in a proposal kind of manner, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Right.
But
what do you think, Janine? We talked about
I'm
this.
not ruling it out.
Pardon me?
I'm not ruling out that it's a ring.
I know I'm not ruling it out either. I feel that it might be a ring. He says no. So I thought Lucas, wait a minute. I'm getting distracted. Where do you go? Lucas and Elizabeth are always dancing. That's true. I'm thinking that it is a ring. For whatever reason, either he wants to propose or maybe his mother sent the old family ring to, you know,
Right.
like, and it's found accidentally, not that he's proposing at that moment. And he has that look on his face too. It's kind of like a funny kind of a look. And she gives him a look. And here's what I think. This is what I think is most important because I talked about it in one of my videos. It doesn't matter whether it's a ring or it's not, it's still there. It's a subject that's in their minds and our minds. So it's going to be a subject in the season.
And I don't make much of the look on her face because she had the exact same look on her face when Jack proposed.
Yes, exactly.
So I don't know that it's going to be a proposal. I do think it probably is a ring. That's what that's my guess.
I think that they are going to focus this season on the two of them and their relationship and the bumps and along the road, but they're going to stay totally together. I hope there will be one point of dynamic tension between them this year, and that is with Jack bonding with him. He's the only father figure he's ever known. I would love a scene or an episode where little Jack refers to him as Papa or Dad or something. And I think that Elizabeth would still have pause because all that guilt that she's kind of put mostly away is like, but Jack never had a chance to be his daddy. And then once that's resolved, I think it's just going to be smooth sailing for them. And I think that will be a little challenge for her and I think he'll be totally gracious about it. Like, if you don't want him calling me daddy or papa, that's fine. But I think eventually that's the only father he knows.
Yeah, that's something that they'll have to bring up or talk about. Yeah.
I don't want any more Jack-related conflict, though. I feel like we should be.
No, go ahead, sir.
No, I was just gonna say, I feel like we've dealt with that. I don't want there to be regression. I mean, I see what you're saying. But I don't know. I feel like maybe the fire.
I just see this like this is the final hurdle. You know.
True. Yeah.
You gotta deal with the fact you've dealt with the guilt. You've put it away. You've thrown yourself into the relationship with Lucas. But then now there's this whole new dynamic with Jack, and so the whole Lucas Jack thing and the Lucas Elizabeth Jack thing is new, and they're gonna have to work their way through it. And so I think she might feel a little twinge of regret that the season in her life never got a chance to be with. She'll feel bad that Jack never got to experience that, but I don't think it's going to be a deal breaker by any means. I think ultimately she'll be really grateful that the two of them have bonded together the way they have.
Just from remember what we talked about a little while ago, just from when she was watching them read it, and she felt like, oh my gosh, she had that deep feeling inside of her. So I don't think it's going to be anything major or it's a setback, Div. I don't want that either. And I don't think they'll go there. I think it's just like a little thought. And anyway, the character is so sensitive. Yeah. He's going to handle that with grace. He's going to be amazing when it comes to that. Yep. Even though this is he'll be the only father he knows, they'll keep that memory alive. I'm sure they're going to come up with something clever. I'm sure there's pictures of Jack in, his room. I'm sure that they'll reference him with the horse like they did. I think it'll be cute. What about how? I wonder if that was written in the script or if it came about that Chris himself just called him buddy and now they have that little buddy thing going.
Peter just said it's important to him. He said it's deeply personal for me. It's what my son calls his grandfather. So I'm sure it was in the script. Okay. That's super sweet.
I love that. That's really cute. I think that and the actor is amazing. He's a doll. And I love how they kept little things that he did in, standing up on his head and saying little buddy and laughing. He's adorable.
He's so cute.
Yeah, I know.
We used to say young man, and now it's a little more personal, right? It was always hello, young man.
Yes.
And so this is cute.
Yeah. Buddy is scripted. Peter said Buddy is scripted.
Love it.
I wanted to have Peter on the show, and look, he's here. He's here.
He's kind of here, yes.
So I forgot about this, but I saw out of I can always tell when it's one of us looking because our eyes are over there looking at the chat. There was that letter. So they've got Lucas with that envelope in his hand inside the infirmary, right? And people are like, what in the world's in that letter? And I mentioned it to Andrea, and she said that it has to do with encouragement.
Yeah.
And she wouldn't say who needed the encouragement and who was giving it. So what are our thoughts on that one? What do you think?
I'm guessing Lucas is giving the encouragement. That's just my guess.
Okay.
But I don't know. I'll be right back.
Okay. Do you think he's giving the encouragement to Faith?
I could see that.
I could too.
I mean, Lucas has always been an encourager of women.
This is true.
If Faith is there basically over her head, or she feels like she is, he could be in there basically saying, you got this.
Yeah. You got this, girl.
Yeah.
Well, we did have that scene with Carson and Lucas towards the end, right? Where they talk about their relationships.
Yeah.
I have no idea if this has anything to do with that, but it's still early enough in the season where maybe Carson is talked about.
Yes.
And she's still dealing with that.
I was thinking that too, Div, but maybe Carson wrote her a letter and sent it to Lucas and asked Lucas to give it to her.
Yeah.
I was also wondering if it was dropped and he found it and then he brings it back or is trying to figure out who it belongs to, because you see him with it when he's sitting in the dark on that bench with Elizabeth. You see it by his side. There's a shot of the envelope there. So I don't know. I'm just curious. Why is it why would they don't do things just by mistake. They don't eeny, meeny, miny, moe it. Right, Peter, when they show us the different little clips and stuff. So I know that those are clues. We're good detectives. We have to pay attention to those. I know. Is there something any of you wanted to address that we've been given and shared? Those are just some of the things that the actors had shared with me. I thought we would dive into. Is there something that you're thinking about that we've
Do we know if there are going to be any crossovers with what's the story, the show with the orphanage?
One Hope Calls?
That crossed over to the different networks now, so that they can't do crossovers?
I don't think there'll be a crossover because it's a different network.
I've got in the back of my head where most of my thinking about When Calls the Heart resides, right in the back of the brain, that Rosemary and Lee are going to find this adorable, enchanting child that they want to adopt. And they're going to be through the process, and lo and behold, as often happens in real life, as soon as they adopt, and she stops being all anxious about it, she's going to be pregnant.
Could be.
That's what I've always kind of. It's been so many seasons since they expressed that they wanted to have a baby, and I really thought that they were going to adopt. Like when the orphans came through the town, and then more orphans came through the town, and I was like, she's totally going to want to adopt this kid, and then it just never came to fruition. But I really want to see Rosemary pregnant, though. I think it would be so funny.
I think it's going to happen this season, whether it's an adoption or whether it's a pregnancy. I very think it's going to happen this season because I watched an interview that Kevin and I will never say his name right. Kevin and Pascal did with Deidre. It was after season 8 where they were like, we've been championing this since season 6. And then they gave, Kevin gave really good reasons as to why it didn't happen. Because twins are hard to work with. And then there was the COVID, and then there was a triangle. He let that slip in there, which is true. It kind of has dominated everything. But he did say that they've been campaigning for it every season.
And now there's one less set of twins because now there's Highland.
They're older. Yeah. Peter said not every prop in a sneak peek defines the season. Okay, that's fine.
I mean, yeah.
I get that.
Sometimes, yeah.
So what, the ring box doesn't define the season? It does. I'm sorry.
I thought it was
not the letter, but definitely that ring box. You were not throwing us off. I'm sorry.
Sometimes things get a little, little over the top. But.
All right. So and then the other thing I forgot to mention was Kayla was saying that this was a year for her to be challenged. Like she had a lot of challenges that she had to deal with.
The character?
Do you think it's because she's a female in the oil business? Do you think it's something along those lines?
That's what I was going to say. Just like being a businesswoman in general in that time, like especially in the oil business.
Right.
But she's never been one to shrink away from a challenge. She is the last character on that show I would expect would let herself be impacted by, chauvinism or someone thinking a woman can't do something.
Might
taken by the bull by the horns in every single situation. Bought the barbershop, ran the phone, the new phone.
Yeah.
That might tie Arthur Gilchrist though to Fiona.
That's true. And I think when he said that he was going to tell us where he was from, and then he stopped and he said, no, that would tell too much. Well, then in the States, the biggest connection we have is California. What is it? Is it San Francisco? Yeah. Oh, Div, yes.
My place.
Yeah. So I'm thinking that somehow they're connected, but who knows? I mean, I don't know.
Maybe he's from Grand Isle, Louisiana.
Okay. Maybe he's from South Jersey, which is just pine trees.
Oh, I love the Jersey accent.
Yeah. We were having bootlegging going on here at that time. Oh, goodness gracious. We're getting into the 1920s. If a man can do it, Fiona can do it. And that is true. Fiona is like fierce. She can do anything. Was there something else that you wanted to talk about? Because then we can look at all of the things that are over here in this chat box.
I have a question for you, Roxanne. Have you heard any hints of whether any of the recurring characters are going to make an appearance this season? And I'm thinking of Lucas's mom, for example, or any of Elizabeth's family, or Henry's son coming back.
I don't know a thing. Nada. And I'm not saying
that. Mona Lisa smile. Okay.
Yeah,
I'll beat you later.
No, I really don't know. Honestly.
Tell me later.
I don't know.
Well, Helen's got to come back for that Lucabeth wedding. So
yeah. Yes.
If they throw a lunch party for the book, I would think she'd be there for that. She would be there.
I will.
That is true. That is true.
We haven't seen her in anything.
And bring her husband with her this time.
Yeah.
I'm going to see who they would cast again. That's a whole podcast in itself.
That's something. There's some burning questions that we have. One, where does Lucas live? Do we ever, I know I had said to one, and I won't reveal which one, but I had said to one of the actors, where do you live? Okay. And they're like, that's like the question that floats out there. We never address. I'm like, I actually asked that to more than one person. So I'm like, okay, that won't be one of our questions that we discuss. But when you are a major character, okay, like Rosemary and Lee, we have to see them in their house. We've even seen Nathan and Allie in their house a few times. We need to know where Lucas lives. I'm sorry. And I hope that
upstairs. That's why I thought he lived there. Remember when Henry's son had one of the rooms up there? And that's where his mother stayed? I just assumed he stays in one of those rooms.
Yeah, but Allie asked him, she's like, do you live here? And he's like, no, but it feels like it sometimes.
Somebody pointed out the fact that he was coming out of the dentist building in season 7. It's like,
which was crafty at the time.
Yeah,
right.
He was
and then
coffee.
And then in the behind the scenes,
he lives in the bat cave.
And then behind the scenes, you had that one, the yellow building at the end of town.
Yes,
it has the little boy toys in it that are basically mirrors of Lucas's office.
Yes. I talked about that.
Yes.
They just decorate that for fun, for people to walk by and take a look inside there, as they walk by. They've decorated it before for something else, I remember, but I forget what it was. But this time they went into some major detail and then they showed it to us. So I think that was, not all props define the season. As someone made a comment and said, do I know everything that's going to happen? No. How would I know? I have no idea. I have no inside anything. I speculate like the rest of us that are sitting here. And we just look at stuff, and look at the clues. Nope. I have no connection whatsoever in any of it. I just realized as I'm looking like this, like I need new glass. I don't have my other glasses on. Maybe that's why. I'm like, look, I can finally see myself. All right. So anybody want to address anything else before? How long we've been on for a while. Anyone address anything else before we look at some of these things that are in the chat? You all can control the chat. It's not just me. So what do we have? Did someone ask a question? If you have a question, forever hold your peace after 5 minutes. So tell us now. This is true. Adele, she says, I'm going to highlight her. And I'm going to show it. It says, I want one of the new characters to be a longtime friend of Lucas's, perhaps his college friend.
See, maybe he's from Grand Isle, Louisiana.
Yeah. I don't know what somebody's talking about a bat cave. Wrong show. Okay, I have no idea what that is.
We were talking about where Lucas lives.
Cade says Lucas lives in the bat cave, and everybody's very excited about it.
Okay. What's this? If Rosemary does get pregnant, I can imagine that it would be quite funny them going through it to yeah.
The cravings, right? I could just see her having like the weirdest cravings, and poor Lee would have to go to the mercantile, and Ned would have that look on his face like, are you kidding me? That's what she wants. It's like that scene, that Christmas scene, pickled eggs.
Ew.
Here's a carbonated soda, free on the house. So
I was also thinking it looked like Lee and is Lee helping out with the newspaper? Didn't he say he was going to do something? Did I misunderstand what he was saying to her about covering a story or something? Is he helping?
I don't recall a reference to that.
In the promo? No?
Oh.
Who did you say, Roxanne?
Lee. Does he say something to Rosemary? Like, is he covering and helping writing stories too? Or he just happens to, I don't know.
I thought he said something about covering something. I don't know. I didn't hear everything he said.
Maybe someone else was supposed to cover it and then she was. And that's why he said, make sure you come home early tonight. And I felt, and I had said this a while back, that there would be tension. Like they'd forget, they'd have to learn how to fall back in love again. Like they're going to be so involved in their jobs that there's going to be some kind of tension, but not in a bad way. That I think that's why they're going to find out some really good news that, we're going to have
attention of him wanting coverage for the mayoral race because he's running for that.
Yes.
And they have to feel like I have to be fair to everybody. He's going to be like, no, you need to be promoting me. I don't know.
She does. There is a cute scene where he's got something all over his back. Like, what is that? Right?
Yeah.
It's not leaves. What do you think it is?
I think it's this is not an actual guess, but I think it's a full out brawl between all of the men in Hope Valley. That's where Lucas gets his black eye. Lee has leaves on his back because they're just fighting.
I know. What do you think, Janine?
You're like, never mind.
I don't venture a guess. When you mention that, I do think of the black eyes. It's like, are they related?
I felt like when I looked at the different scenes, the outfits for Rosemary didn't match up and that they were not in the same day. So the things on the back of, and they're not leaves, but in the one, when you're on your TV and you have, like 1,000 things to do, but you have to take a moment to spy and see, it almost looks like furry or something. Like I had said that in one of my videos, I don't know, or a bar, something. It's not like, I don't know, it didn't look like a leaf. And it's all over his back and he's dirty. And I'm wondering if something kind of went kapow, like, and exploded.
Either way, Lucas seems kind of proud of his black eye. He doesn't seem like he's like, oh, shoot, I'm in trouble. He's like, yep, I got a black eye. And then Lee also is just like, like, you love me.
Yeah, and she does. And Rosemary doesn't seem too concerned that he's all disheveled. So
right.
But Lucas is not wanting to be coddled either.
That's true. Yes. It says, I think Lucas is definitely going to give encouragement to Elizabeth with any bad reviews received about her book. And I'm almost thinking Rosemary and Lee are going to adopt rather than Rosemary being pregnant. Okay.
I can see it.
Yeah.
Question, going back to the newspaper, I feel like Rosemary's going to need a reporter, right? She'll probably need someone to work with, maybe 1 or 2 people. That would be fun. I don't know if Robert's too young to do it.
Robert's not too young to do anything. The man is a multitasker.
He needs that horse.
He's the best guy for the job, right?
Yes. But I feel like she'd be a fun boss to work for, I think.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
I don't know why I'm showing that. I'll hide that. It was just, I'm trying to go up and click and it clicked that. And I didn't mean anything by it. They're just laughing at the things that he said. You know what? He is like a jack of all trades, but that may have been because of COVID and the way they wrote the story. They had him like doing so many things. I don't know. I mean, and then they wrote it into the script he was doing because he's trying to save up for a horse.
Mm-hmm.
You can probably get Newton real cheap these days.
What happened? What?
I just said he could probably buy Newton real cheap.
Oh, no.
Our sweet Newton. That's true.
It'll be fine.
Someone was saying they thought that there was a baseball game.
What was that?
Someone thought that there was going to be a baseball game.
They already did that.
Yeah,
I mean, they could do it again.
You mean for the adults?
Lucas has the baseball.
He does.
That's true. And he's doing that little magic trick.
The Aladdin.
And that is true.
That would be a great venue for the fight if there's a fight amongst the men.
True.
They should be fighting over the game.
My gosh. I don't think Lucas is proud of it, the black eye, but he wants to downplay it. He winks because he's lying so that Jack doesn't hear, but he doesn't want to lie to Elizabeth, if that makes sense. And it does.
Yeah, it does.
But I feel like he's kind of like okay with it, kind of on the like proud side, like, yeah, you know, it's a man thing. I got a black eye, you know, that kind of thing. That's why I think, I don't know how serious it could be.
Some have speculated Jack gave it to him.
What happened?
Some have speculated that Jack gave it to him.
Oh, I wonder how.
I think it might contribute to some, I don't want to say tension, but I think that might be another thing where Lucas and Elizabeth are like, well, no, we have to communicate. You can't just, you know, brush it off and say, oh, we can't talk about it because you have to go to school. It's something that you have to, I think Lucas is going to have to learn to be accountable now. He's not a single guy anymore. He's in a relationship with a woman who has a child. So he's going to have to learn that it kind of reminded me of Frank. Remember Frank back in season 4?
Yes.
When he and Abigail had some tension because Frank was just kind of doing his own thing. And Abigail was like, hey, we're in a relationship now. You can't just go off. I think it was when he went on that like dangerous mission. I can't remember which one. So I think Lucas is going to, So Lucas is going to have to learn it's not just him anymore. And so that might, go ahead, Janine. I
think it's more than being accountable though. Lucas, think of his history. He's not been coddled his whole life. You know, Helen taught him to read and then he was on his own. So having someone in his life that's going to want to, so far she hasn't done it because he's been taking care of her.
Yes.
He's comfortable in that role.
Yes.
Now he's going to be introduced to a whole different type of role where he may not be comfortable with that.
Right. I like it though. I better see it. I want to see her taking care of him. Yeah. Kathy, we mentioned Frank. She loved Frank, the character Frank.
That's my heart. I would love for him to come back. Oh,
that'd be great.
I got into When Calls the Heart. He was the best character.
I remember.
He was nice.
I think he had the bad boy vibe going, and you know he cared for people, and he was the one who brought. Oh gosh, how quickly we forget.
Jesse.
He brought Jesse on, and I just loved his storyline with cafe lady.
Clara.
Lori.
Oh, Lori.
Abigail.
Yeah, Abigail. I followed that story. I started buying the DVDs because of Frank and
Frank.
I miss him still.
I love his entrance. His entrance was great when he like came and called out that fake pastor.
Teacher.
Like,
That's
Kathy's daughter. Yep.
He has one of the best lines, and I'm not going to quote it because I don't remember exactly, but I love when they're going to have the big celebration and Rosemary's in charge of that, and she comes in and she tells him about cleaning up the church, and he makes a comment like, you know, about God having to have a sparkling house, like he kind of does a little dig at her. So he had like this funny sense of humor to him too. He wasn't your typical Mr. Holy Man. Do you know what I mean? He had a past which made him relatable, but isn't that what Hope Valley, everybody has a past basically, you know? But what Patricia said, I would love for Lucas's friend. Oh, okay, Jeanette. Is that what her name was, Jeanette? To stop in Hope Valley to visit him and say thank you to him for helping her with Amos.
Yes. Okay. So super unpopular opinion here.
Okay.
I need jealous of Elizabeth. Like just even a teeny tiny bit. I need a little bit of
Season 8, episode 2. Did you not catch the look on her face when she scoped out Lucas meeting the stage? That woman was ready to throw down.
You mean in episode 1?
We talked about that, right, Kathy?
Was it episode 1? It was 1 or 2.
The stagecoach?
Yes,
Helen.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
When his mother came off and he's embracing her, she was looking, if eyes were daggers, dude would have been dead.
I need more. Especially now
I feel you. I wouldn't mind that either.
But Lucas didn't get the benefit of really seeing her be jealous over him.
Yes.
Oh, but the look he shot her when he
saw that
she was with Nathan. Oh my gosh, that's one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah, that was intense. That like kind of like
the passion from both of them was like, oh,
was Nathan there?
Oh yeah, he and Allie,
And
they
Kid
had gone
Allie.
out to dinner. Yeah.
No, my point is like
Oh, yeah,
Elizabeth
Yeah.
was like
The minute
all
she saw
Lucas.
Lucas, that was the end of
That
that.
was
I
it.
don't feel well. I'm,
Nathan had to be like, Elizabeth, let's go to dinner, and then we know how that
She's
turned
like,
out.
sorry,
I love that
barf.
scene.
I need to go
lost
home.
my appetite. Got a headache.
I gotta go home. I don't feel so well.
Oh man! But I would love for Jeanette to come. That would be so great. And I mean, it doesn't have to be some like elaborate jealousy, but something just.
Mm-hmm.
We were robbed of injured Lucas, and now I need from last season. I wanted to see more of like her being concerned about his safety after the oil derrick thing. So now I need jealous Elizabeth.
Especially after the promos we've seen. I don't know if you guys feel this way, but I feel like after the promos that we've seen, like not like obviously the kisses are like they're kissing, but like the most recent ones, like when she comes back from Hamilton, she's almost like a little bit like shy, maybe.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then like the one we just saw, Rosemary's like, "Are you happy to be home?" And she's like, "Yeah, I am." Like she's not like, "Yes, I'm so glad to be home." And I'm like, okay, so now we need something to like really get her to be like, Lucas is my guy. Like some jealousy, like Div said.
And they kissed though. They kissed out in front of everyone.
They kiss so much.
PDA. Mm-hmm.
So much PDA.
They don't just kiss on the cheek. They're like kissing.
They're like bridge. They're like bridge kissing.
They are.
Oh yeah. So many kisses.
No complaints. No complaints here.
Give us all the kisses.
More good stuff, more kissing.
I actually like prepared myself. I was like, oh my gosh, how many are going to be almost? How many are going to be interrupted? I thought the one at the stagecoach was going to be interrupted by Lil Jack.
It wasn't.
It wasn't. And then I was worried about like the balcony one possibly getting interrupted. Let's hope not. But yes, oh my gosh, so much PDA. And we haven't seen it all.
I love it so much.
Yeah, they're beyond being interrupted. They're going to do that with other characters. I'm sorry, what do you say?
You know what would be wild?
Oh.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'm just too excited.
Go ahead.
They've already kissed more times in the promos than Jack and Elizabeth ever did, which you guys know. I don't know. If you know me, I loved Jack and Elizabeth so much.
Me too.
But I'm so glad that Lucas and Elizabeth have already kissed more times. I hope they say I love you more times than Jack and Elizabeth ever did too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So here for the PDA though.
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited. I mean, I want to see them like out and about, like definitely a couple kissing, the whole thing. But I got my wish. I wanted to see the relationship between little Jack and Lucas. Like I couldn't wait for that. We saw like when I broke it down, someone had questioned it and I said, "What do you mean you never saw Lucas?" Well, nobody really interacted with little Jack except for, Elizabeth and Lee, and then for whatever storyline reasons, but they had quite a bit of interaction. I mean, when he won him the bear, when she was reading him at Christmas time, when he stopped by and they had the whole reference to the book, reading a book. I mean, him saying, "I'm going to take care of your mom and return her safely." There's a whole list.
Yep.
And I was like, now they can really explore it, and I'm excited. And rightfully so, because now they're a couple. Why would you explore it before then? You're just some strange man to him. You know what I mean? So, and especially with the way you had to behave then, it wasn't proper. And he's all about proper. She's like, "Come in my house." And he never would enter her house. Whether they did that on purpose or not, I don't know. But I loved. Do you think, wait a minute, where are you, Peter? Are you still here? We cannot be robbed of seeing him enter her house the first time, correct?
We have to see him go in her house for the first time.
For the first time. If you're robbed of that, I'm mad.
Oh, also, Peter, if you're still here, can we please see the deleted scene?
I was just going to say that. You owe us.
The puppy scene.
Yes, please.
There was I felt like Elliot from Edify addressed that. Like we thought it was going to be in the cut scenes and stuff, and it wasn't. That there was a reason why. Because I know we all want, who knows? They just didn't add it in. I don't know. Oh my goodness, we have all of this excitement. So this
he says we'll see Lucas go into Elizabeth's house. He goes into lots of places and we show that. Okay.
For the first time?
Don't be trying to pin him down now. He gave him
Go, Janine.
Oh my gosh. Does anyone have any questions for us or something we would like to address? Because we'll address it if we can, and then we're going to wrap it up. There are massive jumps in time. Listen, you know what, Peter? This is so true, because I've been saying I can't pin down the timeline this year. Remember, Janine, you and I have been trying to figure this out, and he said, hold on, let me show what he says. There are massive jumps in time between seasons. It could possibly be the first time he walks into her house on camera. All right.
But flashbacks.
That's cool. I want to see them comfortable. I want to see the townspeople just seeing them kissing and hugging, and it's not a big deal because it's Lucas and Elizabeth. I mean, they're a couple, they're a duo, they're a family with Jack. I look forward to that.
Yeah, I look forward to. So people say it's not all about Elizabeth. Well, I beg to differ. That's why the whole show was written. It was about her. So whoever her love interest is going to be, in a lot of scenes. I get that. And yes, it is an ensemble cast. I get it. And they built it up over the years and I'm enjoying it. There are things that I do want to see along the way. But what happened? Am I missing it? The timeline has never made sense. The whole season only accounts for 30 actual days. It's true, but we try to make some sense of it. My point was, I want to see Ned and Flo and Florence. I want to see all of them. I want to see them
Bill
together.
And Molly.
Yeah, pardon me?
Bill and Molly. We didn't talk about them.
I know. I want to see something going on with them. I don't know. I'm just excited for everybody. And then Elizabeth, how she interacts with every single character. She has like a closeness or a reasoning with them or a talk. But I definitely want to see her with the children. We kind of lost that a little bit. Her as a teacher and their stories.
Probably because of the pandemic. I'm thinking they didn't want to have a lot of kids on set. I'm with you, and but I'm also interested in what Peter just said. Jumping through seasons and time. What time period are they going to be at now, and what does that mean for the town? They went through one jump, and we've got telephones now, so they're going to go through another jump. What new things have been incorporated into the timeline? It's interesting to watch them, just grow through the years. Where is it going to end? The roaring 20s. Where are they right now? I look forward to. And will the clothes change? I'm
waiting for that.
If they would say, "Oh, she can get a new hairstyle, so she can incorporate more of her own hair." So
we have, we're now this time it's 9:27. So this time next week we will have already seen the first episode. And
1919.
Oh, he's right. Look at Peter's latest comment. Yeah.
And we saw that in little pieces. We saw there was a sign where there were these new washer machines that you could get. Do you remember seeing that? Did anybody remember seeing that in the background? There's a sign on there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like a soda shop, like a soda shop, but also like pharmacy together, which is cool. And then more of the vehicles and the cars and whatnot. I think I talked about this already. Did I already talk about? I think I did, when Nate said that he had to go in costume and there would be like something that happened, like a crash with the car. I talked about. I didn't know if I talked about that.
I didn't talk about it, but it was. I think you started to.
Yeah, and we didn't even finish, or
I think we actually might have been talking about that right before we went on.
Okay, forgive me if I'm repeating myself here, but we have so much content. when Nate Pelche was on, he was talking about how sometimes he gets in costume or has to help out with driving the cars or whatnot. And he was talking about a crash of some sort. And it really wasn't a crash, but it was more like an accident. And he had to be involved because there were animals. And I didn't realize it, but I was thinking that it definitely has to do with, like, in the very beginning with Newton. And it looks like he gets hurt, like his arm is in a sling of some sort in that surprise. You know, when they do the surprise party. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who was driving the car? What hit Nathan? Jill had asked that. I think it's a hit and run by the way they say it. Like, I don't think they know. I don't know. But anyway, after I saw that scene, I was like, oh, I wonder if that's the scene that he was referencing.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just think that, like, there's going to be more cars. There's going to be some kind of an accident because there's going to be more cars on the street, right?
Well, Aaron
I
just
wonder
said
if there's going to be reference or impact of World War I on Hope Valley.
That's true. There is. Janine, you pointed out a poster, remember?
Yeah, there was a poster in the background in the infirmary that was from World War I.
Div, what were you going to say? Aaron said something.
Oh, I said that. I was going to say, Aaron just said in her interview, one of her interviews, like yesterday or whatever it was, that there's just like cars whizzing by because there's just more cars in Hope Valley. So, I mean, I think there's going to be just like more advancements in that kind of thing.
Starla Rich is here. And they're pointing out that they saw a street light, I think, in the promo. Somebody was pointing that out, and Christina must have said something. Good point, Starla. I don't know what they're talking about. Let's go up and see.
She said they acknowledged the war in the infirmary. So, like, just what you said.
Yeah, they do. Okay, good point. What else? Who was driving the car? They actually acknowledged the war in the infirmary. Yes, that's what you had pointed out, Janine, right?
Mm-hmm.
More jobs, more people, more cars. Yeah, that makes sense. Yes, it does. And that's something, like, one of the first videos I did, I said Hope Valley was like going to have a big change. So it just makes a little bit more drama. What about, let's end with this, because we haven't talked about this at all and the promos don't show this. What in the world is going on in that cabin, and what is going on with these Pinkertons? What do you think?
Well, I mean, they did mention the mine disaster, so I think they're going to come back to the mine disaster a little bit. And then the Pinkertons' last name is the same as the guy from season 1.
Yeah.
So they've got to be connected somehow, right? I mean, they wouldn't just like write them having the same last name if they're not related.
Right, exactly.
So and I think that has a lot to do with Henry and Henry's kind of backstory and his growth. And I'm excited for it because I love Henry.
Yep. Ditto to all of that. Yeah.
He looks sad to me, though, about how they are, when the camera's inside the cave and it's looking out at him standing out there, and he's looking in the cave. And he is just so, I don't know, sad looking. He's such a good actor. Like, when he's talking and he's acting, I forget he's acting. I really am in the moment with him. He's like amazing. Yes, both Spurlocks were Pinkertons. This is true. Yeah, we were Pinkertons. One's supposed to be away in jail, right?
Yeah.
He gave Bill that list, right? Last season, he gave Bill a list of all the guilty parties, or however you want to put it, who were associated with the mine collapse. So I don't know if Bill's going to be involved in that, if we're going to explore their dynamic a little bit more. I want to see them as friends. Now, if we're going to talk about friends, that's a friendship I care more about.
They kind of started to do it already. They just they got the door open, foot in the door. Yeah.
Henry and Lucas?
Henry and Bill.
Henry and Bill.
Yeah.
Scroll up just a little bit. Anita said something about a spiritual healing. And I had read something regarding Henry. Henry standing in front now. Let's see, where is it? She said, Yeah, she said something basically about Henry standing in front of the church and wondering if Henry was going to have some sort of a spiritual healing. And I think it was John Tinker. I think it was, had made some sort of a comment that, or maybe it was Rhonda Rich had said something that she had just seen a scene with Henry, and I believe it was Viv.
Mm-hmm.
And they were in tears.
So I saw that, and I read that too. So that could be because he's the worst on himself.
Yes.
Elizabeth has had long talks with him, and about, you know, like, yeah, like forgive yourself kind of thing. Like people care about you, and he just can't seem to like come to terms with it himself. Yeah. So this I'm hoping that by the time the season ends, that Henry will have come to terms with that. And then we could just see him like move on. Oh, this is somebody wanting to know. So is the black guy on Lucas Pinkerton related? Possibly. Probably. Who knows? It could be just
that's probably how Lucas and Nathan become kind of buddies, because at the end of season 8, Nathan was like, hey, I've got your back if any Pinkertons show up. Like obviously there's Pinkertons. He's got his back. So he's probably gonna be like, hey man, there's the Pinkerton. Come help me.
I think we have to see that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes, yeah, I agree with that. This is interesting. So the new Paul Green, without the E, and there's that menacing picture of him. And I looked him up in one movie I found, and he has there's nothing. You cannot contact his agent, nothing. Have no idea who he is. He could just be somebody that's in the background. It doesn't mean that he's a main character. You know, do you know who I'm talking about? Yeah. What do you think? What do you think about him? Who's he?
I've heard a rumor that he's not actually on the show.
Okay.
And it's false information. I really don't know. If he is on the show, he looks like someone who could beat somebody up for sure. But
I don't know where I'm getting this, but I feel like it's been a while. But I think I heard a while back he's in like 10 episodes. Did anyone else see that?
That's
I'm sorry?
That was when
it came out, right?
It first came out, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I looked up pictures, but I don't know if that's the same Paul Green. You never know on Google, but so I don't know.
Well, he's listed in the the database. So he's there, and he is there for several episodes. It was like they put him out right away, but
he's not in the list of the cast lists that are being issued.
Right, exactly. So what?
So, hey, Peter.
Roxanne, can you please ask Peter if we could see Henry visiting Abigail? I was so interested in them getting together. Well, what? Okay, I'm the wish maker. Poor Peter. Okay, Patricia. My goodness, we have a lot of demands tonight. A lot of demands.
The Foundry owner, Anna Krause, has got a question mark regarding Foundry owner, and I think that might have to do with where the Pinkertons are coming in. I've always said I don't know if Wyman Walden is a good guy or a bad guy. I think he's an opportunist. I think he will go on which side his bread is buttered on. So if it's going to benefit him, I think he will be there. And if that means being with the good guys, I think he could be. But who does he work for? His statement to Bill in season 8, it's like, you want greed? You want to see greed? You ain't seen nothing yet, basically.
Yes. I know. I remember that.
So I wonder, is his employer, you know, he's out there making investments and money on the side. Is his employer the one who operates the Foundry?
And also, like, he gets like a talking down to, like, when he's out there, the one Pinkerton is saying to him, you know, like they're having a whole conversation and Bill's watching it. Of course we can't hear it, but it's almost like he's in trouble. You know what I mean? Like, you know, something intense is going on there. Yeah. they suspect they're back to the Pinkertons, them being related. They have to be related, for goodness sakes.
They are.
The same last name.
Peter said it a couple times.
Peter just said they are.
Two different characters related to each other.
Yes. Yeah. Which we were told before. Yes.
Yeah. Ooh, does that mean Elizabeth somehow gets involved in this? Because isn't she kind of the reason behind Charles Spurlock ending up in prison?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, because she discovered the whale oil, and then and then Jack was like, bam.
Yes. So I mean, I don't know that it would be revenge over his relative. I mean, it's been a few years, but
I mean, she didn't really do. I don't know that it would be that, but that's been some speculation from some people.
Yeah.
I mean, Elizabeth didn't really seem to. Elizabeth wasn't like, oh my gosh, Spurlock.
Yeah.
You know, like she didn't seem too concerned about it. I don't.
And you know it's an issue because we recognize the name, but Bill's like, where did I ever hear that name before? Remember, he's like saying that out loud.
Yeah.
So it's all going to come out because Bill's been there since season 1, but not right away. Not the first seasons. He's been there for like forever. His character. Yeah. Oh my goodness. All right. I just wanted to, do we have anything else we wanted to add before we close out and say goodnight and do our little announcements? No? Yes? There's a lag. It doesn't seem like Elizabeth knows about Spurlock yet. Yes, she was too busy trying to like make a big life decision. Also in the sneak peek where Lucas is talking to the potential investor, he seems nervous and doesn't want to leave Henry alone with him. That's true. Maybe this investor will end up taking Lucas's shares. I don't know. I thought maybe his nervousness also came because he wasn't giving the attention to Elizabeth and he was torn between the two. Right. That's what I was thinking his nervousness was, not so much business related. Yeah.
I also, in that, I was like, no. I was not happy that he canceled their date. Although I think he's going to figure it out pretty early on in the season that he's too busy and he needs to just like chillax a little bit on all the businesses.
I think she's going to dine with the Canfields. Remember in one of the promos, she's wearing that outfit and she's smiling and the Canfields are sitting across from her. Yes. So I think that's the scene where they're going to dine together. That'll be fun. We haven't seen them interact so much with Elizabeth as a couple. So
no, I would like that too, because she's got a special relationship with them. You know, she's helping out their daughter, you know,
right.
I think that's what I miss, that connection through the children. So I really hope that we see that. No,
8:38 p.m. I think that may be Central Time, and maybe 9:38 your time, Roxanne. That's where the comment is from Peter.
What about? Did you see the post from Peter about
Abigail's character is too important not to affect the storyline either on camera or off?
And you know what? That's true. I mean, she's always, they do that with everybody though. They mention them all the time. Just because Clara and Jesse are not going to be there, there's a letter that Bill is reading. And I love that Bill's reading it because he had a wonderful relationship with Clara from the very beginning. He saved her. He got her out of being the indentured servant and you know, come to Hope Valley. And he's always been like a father figure. One of the scenes that I love between them, and he's trying to figure out what he could do in the wedding. And she says to him, the most important thing, you're like walking me down the aisle. And I'm like, oh, I love that. You know, he's like crotchety sometimes, but I love his character. But like, and then I can't imagine that even though Carson's not here in this season, that's it. We're not going to get a letter from Carson. We're not going to hear from him, right? Don't you think we will?
I think we will. But I'm like distracted by Peter's comment, his last comment.
That he's got his priorities straight.
Yep.
I know. That's what. Oh
yeah. I was
really glad he changed his mind. I was like, okay, good boy, because I wasn't. Can you guys walk yourselves home?
Yeah. No. This is after. I think this is the saloon because this is after instead of dealing with the investor. So
no, yeah, but
the investor's at the table.
He walks Elizabeth home instead of.
This is the other scene.
Yeah, it's later.
That night at the saloon.
And I'm not surprised.
I thought he was talking about after she gets home from Hamilton.
Yeah, that's he walks in. I think twice. He walks her home twice.
Okay.
We'll take it, right?
No, that's not what I wanted to highlight. What am I doing? Lucas seems in the first episode to be swamped with his responsibilities. Something tells me he's going to work hard to empty his plate a bit to afford more time. Well, yeah, then he starts taking care of Jack.
Yep.
Yeah. And we have telegrams and phone calls and letters. There's lots of ways to talk to Carson. Good. And that's what I was thinking. I didn't think they were just going to not communicate. I don't get that. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. They have like look. Seriously. Hello. Will there be a huge story that the Valley Voice has to cover? Before anybody answers that, did anyone pay attention when that whole scene where she's reading, she being a Rosemary's reading to Lee her story about how he's going to win the race and he's got whatever's on his back. And if you look up on the wall, there's the church crook book. Like instead of a cookbook, it's a crook book with stolen dough. And then there was something else that was up there about getting to the root of the problem. And I'm like, that's hilarious to me, like how they put those things up. But then I was also wondering if there was something behind it other than a chuckle, or are we reading too much into something? Like, is something going to be stolen? Is there going to be a big story that she has to cover? What do you think? Think she's going to have a big story to cover?
I do.
I do.
I have no idea what it'll be, but it's Rosemary. They have to give her, they have to get her reporter senses tingling.
She's got a nose for news.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, I wish she would start that column. I don't think that's going to happen, but what was it called? That column that she had back in earlier season.
Oh yeah,
made up name and they had to give her
yes, Mary Rose.
Yeah.
Oh,
subtle.
That's how she and Lee fell in love. Remember, she was sitting in the saloon watching them cheat at playing poker. Yeah,
so cute. I love them.
Rosemary wouldn't waste your time with unimportant articles. I know. I cannot wait. Okay, so I feel like we've answered all of their questions. The only announcement that I wanted to make is that on Monday nights, right after one of the episodes has premiere at 8:00, Kathy and I, right? Raise your hand, Kathy. You're in my classroom. Raise your hand. She and I will be together and we will be analyzing from the night before. And sometimes I have some lineups of the cast members will pop in to talk to us on certain days, which will be fun. So we have that to look forward to. I'm so excited. We have a little premiere party too on Friday night with in conjunction with the Chris McNally fan group. So we have game and a recipe that we're sharing and a giveaway and just fun stuff like that. Now, Jillian, did you have an announcement or Div? I think
I did. Yes. So a lot of people have been asking about the 100 reasons to ship Lucabeth video because I did a 50 reasons one like a year and a half ago, and I promised that if we got our end game, I would make a 100 reasons video. So that is almost done. I was hoping to have it last weekend, and then there's just too much going on. So hopefully either tomorrow or Tuesday, please watch for it. I will post the link on Instagram and on YouTube as well. So
okay. So when we go to Instagram, it'll lead us to YouTube, right? To your YouTube.
Yeah, I'll put the link in there.
Okay.
So I was just like, I promised. I was like, if we get our end game, which I was almost positive we were, and we did. So it's been a lot of work, but labor of love and joy. So
I love it.
yeah.
And if someone's out there that hasn't subscribed to your channel, they should. Lucabeth Lounge. You can find them on YouTube, right?
Yeah, it won't be that one. It'll be on my personal account. But you haven't seen? It'll be on my personal one.
Your personal YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to make sure they know that. And what is the title, just in case they don't know?
Of what? The video?
Your YouTube.
Oh, my YouTube. It's Divine Luster. If you're on Twitter, if you go to my page, I've pinned the 50 Reasons video right now.
Okay.
And if you click on that link, it'll take you to my YouTube channel. But if not, then I'm hoping at least by Tuesday I'll have it done. The link will be there and you'll be able to get to my channel that way.
Okay. How about you? You just released a new chapter, Janine, right?
I did.
Just the other day.
I just did one tonight.
Tonight.
Ooh, did you release it?
I did.
Oh, while we were talking, I didn't know. Oh. All right. So we have to be on the lookout for that, right?
Yes.
What chapter is this?
6, I think.
Oh my God, it's so good. I can't wait. Are you going to take a pause while season 9 is going on? Or are you just going to? Okay.
Well, I've got another fandom that I work with, and I have a co-author that I put on hold to write the Wind Calls the Heart one.
Yes, I remember you saying.
Yeah, I write monk fan fiction as well.
Right. So then I was just watching one of my favorite monks movies the other day, and I was thinking about you. I'm like, I have to find that and start reading it. I like the one where he goes out into outer space.
Yes. That was the first one I did.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to check it out. All right, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Now, girls, we're all going to stay and we'll exit in the studio in a minute, but you all have a good night. I had a really good time. I hope you all did. Peter, thank you for visiting all your 52,000 questions. That was nice. Look, I wanted to have Peter on, and here he was. All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night, all.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Thanks for listening.
Yes.